Alright guys, welcome to Fumble Fever. We're really excited about this video. It is bowl season finally here. They just released all the whole schedule for the bowl games on Sunday. And what we're going to be doing for you guys is we're going to be picking all 41 bowl games right now. Me and Dylan's going to be having a little competition here, as you can see from the board. We're going to be picking all these games. We're going to be posting them and playing on Bowl Mania on ESPN and having a little competition. And all of our fans are welcome to join as well. I'll get a group going and I'll send out the invite via Twitter. If you follow us on Twitter on Fumble Fever, it'd be a good time to do so if you haven't done that already. So you can join in on the fun and see if you can beat us. And we're going to see if maybe we can. We're going to see if we can help you guys out with some of these smaller bowl games, especially 100%, and see if we can get you guys some money, maybe even if you want to play some bets. So let's get straight to it with the first bowl game. We have the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl. That's going to be played between Buffalo and Charlotte. And Dylan, I'm going to let you take things away.
I got Buffalo all the way here. Charlotte, they're not going to be able to stop Buffalo's rush attack.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go Buffalo as well, but I will have to note for everyone out there that likes to pay attention to things like this, Buffalo does have a running back, Dylan McDuffie. He's charged with domestic violence. He'll be out of this game. He does not play that often, but he is a really good up-and-coming freshman. We'll see how all that plays out. This is Charlotte's first bowl game. Very first time. I'm going to have to go Buffalo as well. So moving on to the second bowl game here, we have the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. There's some interesting sponsors for some of these bowl games for sure. That is matching up Utah State versus Kent State. Who you got?
I got Utah State all the way, offense again. Jordan Love, the quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in the country right now.
Yeah.
Going top three rounds in the draft this year.
I think you said it best with Jordan Love. I think he's an exceptional quarterback. Could possible distraction. He is looking to transfer, from what I've heard. He's looking to transfer to Oklahoma. But Kent State is 0-3 in bowl games. I don't like that stat at all. I'm going Utah State. Little trouble with the board, but that's okay. The next game, Celebration Bowl. This is two teams that not a lot of people might not know about. This is actually the HBCU National Championship game between Alcorn State and North Carolina A&T. Dylan, who you got?
I got Alcorn. Offense again, all the way.
Okay. This one I'm going to pick with history. This first one I'm going to go against you with. I'm going to go with North Carolina A&T. They've won 3 out of the last 4 of these Celebration Bowls, and 2 of those 3 was against Alcorn State. I think they repeat that again.
Well, we gotta disagree eventually.
I feel better, honestly, disagreeing with you. That just makes me feel good about myself. And if we don't disagree on some of these, then how's anyone going to win?
That's true. I mean, I'll win either way, so.
Yeah, that's what you keep thinking. That is absolutely fantastic. It ever helps you sleep at night, my man.
I can sleep real well.
Moving on, though, to the New Mexico Bowl, Central Michigan taking on San Diego State.
I got Central Michigan. I got San Diego State. It's very unusual for me to pick offense so much, but I'm loving offense all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I got San Diego State.
Okay, I'm actually going with San Diego State as well, but I will say they have a quarterback and a running back injured, which doesn't sound good. Their quarterback is coming back. I assure you, the running back, very unlikely, but they should still be able to get the win over Central Michigan, who hasn't been doing well here, coming off of a loss in the MAC championship. I'm going to go with the Aztecs, who do have a fairly good amount of experience in bowl games.
Yeah, they do. They seem to go to one at least, or every year pretty much.
So we have the FBC Mortgage Cure Bowl. That is Liberty and Georgia Southern. We've already had one team in Charlotte having their first bowl game. Liberty's in their first bowl game as well. Who do you have here?
I got Georgia I got Georgia in this one. They have that triple option, very hard to defend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Liberty's ready for it.
Yeah, same reason for me actually. That's why I'm taking Georgia Southern. I don't think Liberty's ready for that triple option. It's just a
weird
it's just an offense that you don't see a lot. And again, Liberty being in their first bowl game, I think they're just happy to be there. I'm going to go with Georgia Southern. So we do have one of your favorite teams from all year long playing in the Cheribundi Boca Raton Bowl, SMU and Florida Atlantic.
It's going to be a very good game. I can't wait to watch it. It's a lot of high-power offense.
Yeah.
I haven't really been talking about defense a whole bunch.
So far, this bowl season's picked a lot of offensively sound matchups.
Yes. So I'm gonna go with. I just think SMU is just a better overall team as wide receivers and quarterback.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go with SMU.
I'm gonna go with SMU as well. I don't know if you can read my notes here, but the only thing I wrote for this game was pony up. Because I love SMU, and I have been loving SMU this whole season. Florida Atlantic's great. Lane Kiffin departing now as he heads over to Ole Miss. Maybe a distraction, may not, but I can't go against my Mustangs at SMU. So let's see what we got here. We have the Camellia Bowl taking Florida International versus Arkansas State.
I got Arkansas State. Another offense right here.
And another offensive game, sure. I'm actually going to go with Florida International. Arkansas State, interestingly enough, is in their 9th straight bowl game, but their bowl record is absolutely terrible, 3-6 during that stretch. I don't like that record at all, and history repeats itself, and I'm going to go with Florida International if I can find it on the board. Here it is.
You'll find it eventually.
Yeah, one of these days.
Sorry, they're kind of out of order.
And it's A-okay. There we go. The next bowl game up is a bowl game that I'm really excited for. We have the Mitsubishi Motors Las Vegas Bowl. It's going to be Boise State taking on Washington.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to pick Washington in this one because Boise State hasn't really played anybody that much this year. So I don't think they're ready for the physicality of Washington. So I'm going with Washington.
Okay, I'm going opposite of you. I'm going with Boise State. I don't like anything that Washington's really been doing this year at 7-5 in the Pac-12. Not a good record there. Boise State's been playing with 3 different quarterbacks and still winning football games. I like what I see from Boise State. So we have R&L Carrier's New Orleans Bowl. Appalachian State is going to be taking on UAB. App State has been on the rise. Do you see them winning this bowl game?
Yes, this is probably going to be the most lopsided bowl game this year. I think Appalachian State's going to they're going to come out angry because they didn't get the New Year's Six Bowl.
Sure.
So I think Appalachian State's going to pull this one away.
Yeah,
pull this one off.
I agree. Appalachian State coming off of a championship game last week. UAB not really used to being in this position. App State ranked in the top 25. I can't go against App State here. So while I'm pinning this up, we can go ahead and go to the next bowl game, Dylan. We've got the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. It's going to be Central Florida taking on Marshall. This is a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, I mean, both pretty good offenses, but I'm taking UCF. They just have a better offense overall.
Yeah, I'm going to go UCF as
and,
well.
And fun little.
Go ahead.
Milton should be back next year, which is their backup or was their starting quarterback until he broke his leg.
That's great news. Yeah.
So he should be back next year. So their offense should be even better next year.
Sure, and Mackenzie Milton, a really good story there. Everything that's happened with that injury, I do like.
Yeah,
the fact that
I think he's been out 2 years. I think almost.
It's been a while. It's been way too long for Central Florida. Central Florida, by the way, really sneaky second place in the American East at 9-3, just behind Cincinnati, team that people just completely forgot about just because of their losses. One of them being to Pittsburgh. So that really set them down. But I have to go with Central Florida here, absolutely. So I'm definitely gonna have to go Central Florida. So, our next bowl up, we do have on Christmas Eve, actually, the SoFi Hawaii Bowl. This, of course, is Hawaii and BYU.
I'm going to go with Hawaii. BYU isn't going to like the trip over there. Jet lag.
Okay. Sometimes the thing is, it takes some of those reasons. But BYU is sneaky, really sneaky.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like BYU, but something's just telling me to go with Hawaii.
Yeah, okay. It could just be one of those things. I'm going to go with BYU. I like Hawaii this year. Way improved from recent years, but
definitely.
I'm going to have to definitely still stick with the Cougars. And we have on December 26th, the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl. That's going to be Louisiana Tech versus Miami. That is a really odd matchup. It's not something that you'd see every day. Kind of makes it hard to pick, but who do you got?
I got Miami in this one. I think their defense is I'm finally talking about defense now.
Correct.
But I think their defense is good enough to hold back that Louisiana Tech offense. It's going to be closer than what people think it's going to be. Because you think of Miami and La Tech, most people would say Miami is going to blow them out. I would think.
No, I don't think so.
But it's going to be close.
Personally, I don't think that
it's going to be a close
it's a blowout. I agree with you that it'll be a close game. I mean, there's a reason why Miami's having to play in this low of a bowl.
Yeah, I mean, they're 6-6.
Yeah, 6-6 in an ACC Coastal that really wasn't that great. But La Tech, I think, is going to get outdone by Miami's talent level here. So I'm going to have to go with the Canes. And like you said, Miami's defense, especially that linebacking core, has got 3 guys that could easily all end up in the NFL one day. So in the Quick Lane Bowl, we have Pittsburgh. They're taking on Eastern Michigan.
I'm going Pittsburgh. Offensive line and their running game.
Okay.
Eastern Michigan's not going to be able to stop it.
Okay. I'm going to actually go with Eastern Michigan. A little bit crazy sounding to most people probably, especially in this area, because most people don't really know anything about Eastern Michigan. The only thing that's having me pick them, though, is Pat Narduzzi is on the hot seat right now, especially in the Pittsburgh area. I was reading earlier, or he is being called to be fired. They're tired of being stagnant. A 7-5 year this year was, every year, and this year was really disappointing for them. And if there's one big upset that I'm going to be picking throughout all these bowl games, I'm going on a wire, going on a limb, and I'm going with Eastern Michigan.
So when they beat Clemson, that's what saved his job for 2 years, you think?
Probably. It could be. Just the fact that they just kept giving him more and more opportunities, because at Pittsburgh, the expectations wasn't so sky high that he had to perform, such as maybe somebody like Florida State's coach Willie Taggart had to do. So I think that probably has to play into it some. But yeah, because of that, bowl games, don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to go with Eastern Michigan. Military Bowl on December 27th, presented by Northrop Grumman as the sponsor.
Easy for you to say.
Huh?
I said easy for you to say.
Easy for anyone to say, I'm sure. North Carolina versus, it's actually a really good bowl game, despite the odd name. North Carolina's taking on Temple.
I've been preaching Sam Howell pretty much all year, so I'm gonna go.
No reason to go against them now.
Yep,
Huh?
I'm going North Carolina.
So this game, I think more than any other game on this board, is the only game that I have as an absolute toss-up. I'm literally picking right now, choosing right now. Every other game I already knew who I was going to go with. I love Temple's defense. I love Sam Howell for North Carolina. I'm going to go with my gut and say North Carolina, but this game really could go either way. So if I was placing bets, I'd just stay away from this one altogether. We have the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. That's going to be Michigan State taking on Wake Forest, another matchup that we don't get to see very often.
You never get to see it.
Or ever, yes.
I'm going to go with Wake Forest here.
Okay.
Their offense is going to be too much for Michigan. Michigan won't be able to keep up with Wake Forest. Even though I do like Michigan State's defense, like always.
Yeah.
Their defense is always good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going with Wake Forest. And plus, Wake Forest, they never go to bowl games. So this is pretty much their Super Bowl.
Well, they don't get to go to very many bowl games, but they were able to beat Texas A&M in the Boat Bowl last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty good win for Wake Forest. Wake Forest, a team that's been playing offensively like 90 plays per game.
It's a lot.
Yeah, they are fast tempo altogether. These two teams couldn't be more different. With their styles of play. Michigan State kind of pound the ground, defensive team.
Run the clock out.
Yeah, but because of how I've been feeling about Michigan State throughout this entire season, I've been really down on them. I've been really up on Wake Forest, and I'm going to continue with that here. And I'm gonna pick Wake Forest to win the ball game. Agreeing with you a little more than I'd like to. It's a little scary.
Yeah, that means they're the right teams.
Again, whatever helps you sleep at night. Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl. We have Oklahoma State. They are taking on Texas A&M. This one should be a fun one.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got Oklahoma State in this one. Too much firepower. For Texas A&M. It's gonna be a very high scoring game, I think.
Sure.
But Oklahoma State's gonna pull it out.
I'm going with Oklahoma State as well. A name drop that I want a lot of people to recognize right now is Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
Okay, running back for Oklahoma State. He was snubbed out of the Heisman finalists.
You think so?
Well, there's a lot of names, to be fair, but Oklahoma State certainly thinks that he was snubbed out, and he thinks he was snubbed out of the being called to the Heisman ceremony. He thinks that he deserves to be there. He's a heck of a running back, and he's up for the Doak Walker Award, which goes to the best running back overall.
You think he's better than Jonathan Taylor?
It's down to me between Jonathan Taylor, Chuba Hubbard, and Travis Etienne for the top 3 running backs in the nation, I believe.
I think this year, I think you're right. I think Hubert is is the better running back this year.
Okay, and because of that, and because of the firepower, there's different things that go into bowl games that really motivate teams.
Mm-hmm.
Texas A&M's been flat out disappointing as well.
Yeah.
And because of all these factors, I'm gonna have to go with Oklahoma State in this one.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So moving on here, we have the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. It used to just be the Holiday Bowl. Gotta have a sponsor though, of course. We have USC taking on Iowa. Who do you got?
I got Iowa, one of the best defenses in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got Iowa all the way.
We have plenty of football talk all the time, and I always do. I like to find interesting tidbits of information, especially for bowl games when I can. I'm picking USC, even though I think that they had a very dumb decision, to say the least. They were considering the possibility of hiring or going after head coach of LSU, Ed Orgeron, decided against it because they didn't like the way he talks. That's something we all might say in our own head, but not something that we usually let slip out loud. Very interesting for USC.
Yeah, very. I bet they definitely regret that now.
Yeah, well, and they just gave their head coach a brand new bonus and signed him to an extension, Clay Helton, for whatever reason, I'm not really sure of. I don't really know where.
I mean, confidence. You gotta show confidence in your coach.
I don't have any confidence in Clay Helton right now.
Hey, that's what recruits look for. They want stability.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why they're doing it probably.
I mean, yes, but at some point you need to make smart decisions ahead of just confidence. But with USC still, as far as the game goes, I've liked their play. A little inconsistent, but I've liked their play throughout the year, so I'm going to definitely have to go with USC. So in the Cheez-It Bowl, I think this is your favorite bowl.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Cheez-It Bowl, Air Force is going to be taking on Washington State.
I got Air Force. Same reason I had Georgia Southern in this one.
Right.
Washington State, they never see a triple option team, so I'm going Air Force.
Here's the thing: most people probably don't know because Air Force hasn't really been on TV much. Air Force has been a really sneaky 10-2 team. I mean, they've had a really good year. Washington State at 6-6 is just lackluster to say the least. Very disappointing. I have to go with Air Force. Moving on down to the Camping World Bowl. This is a better bowl game than the name indicates. A way better bowl game than the name indicates. It's going to be 10-2 Notre Dame taking on Iowa State.
I got Iowa State. I love their quarterback Purdy. I think he's going to pull this one out late in the fourth quarter.
Sure.
It's going to be a very good game. But, yeah, I got Iowa State.
So, I'm going to go Notre Dame here. Even though I love Matt Campbell, the head coach for Iowa State, and I like what they've been doing over in the Big 12, I just think that Notre Dame has a little bit too much firepower that they're going to overtake Iowa State, and I think they get the win. Brian Kelly does not have a good record of playing good top teams, but this isn't a good top team, so he should be able to get the win here. Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. This one's a really fun one. It's hosting Penn State and Memphis, who, of course, Memphis, after their American Athletic Conference Championship.
Yeah, there's a New Year's Six.
Is the non-Power 5, Group of 5 school that got the highest ranking and has made their way into the New Year's Six.
I'm going to shock a couple people maybe.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull the trigger and go Memphis because I just got a gut feeling with this one.
Okay. Sure.
With their offense, really good offense. I love them.
I mean, I like Memphis too. I almost pulled the trigger myself. And this is Memphis's big time chance to prove to the world that the AAC belongs to be held as a Power 6 conference. Okay. This is their shot. Central Florida had their shot a few years ago against Auburn. They took it. They got it. And if Memphis could get a win here, as you're predicting, that would be monstrous, not only for Memphis, but for the entire conference of the AAC. They would absolutely love that.
This was last second, too. I had Penn State all day.
Yeah. But
I'm kind of figuring you're picking Penn State. So I went Memphis.
That's very odd. You know me well. We've been friends a little bit too long, I'm going to have to say, because I am going with Penn State. But I do like Memphis. I don't know 100% how Memphis is going to handle the departure of Mike Norvell. He is coaching them in the bowl game. It reminds me again of Central Florida and Scott Frost, who had a new job accepted for Nebraska. He decided to coach their bowl game, and they ended up beating Auburn, as I've already said, 2 years ago. So, all of that being said, it'd be interesting to see what their motivation is, how their fight plays out. Like I said, I love Memphis. It's hard for me to go against them here, but Penn State's been looking pretty good. So
I like their defense.
Lions. Penn State's defense?
Yeah.
I like Memphis's defense, I think, has improved as well, which is very good to see. So, some more games here. Playoff games we'll get to in a minute. That's the games that are going to be played the same night as this Penn State and this Notre Dame game. But we'll get to those at the end. On December 30th, we have the Surf Pro First Responders Bowl. It's going to be hosting Western Kentucky and Western Michigan.
I'm gonna take Western Michigan right here.
Okay.
I like the defense overall.
Yeah.
A little bit better than Western Kentucky, so I'm gonna take Western Michigan. Fun little fact: PJ Fleck actually coached at Western Michigan, so row the boat. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. Okay. And like I said, I like Western Michigan. I really do a lot. But there's one thing that's really driving me crazy when I look at their overall record, and their away record this year is 1-5. This bowl games are obviously away. I'm gonna go to Western Kentucky because why not? So let's move on down to the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. This is going to be Mississippi State taking on Louisville.
I got Louisville in this one. Another last second. This is another toss-up, I think. But Louisville's offense, this bowl season's been very weird for me.
It has been an odd bowl season. There's some really good, interesting matchups that we don't see.
Normally, I don't really go with offenses, and normally I go with defenses. But
uh-oh, that's scary.
I'm going with Louisville.
I'm going with Louisville too. Okay, that's only because Mississippi State shouldn't even be in a bowl game.
That's true.
Mississippi State. The only reason they're in a bowl game is because of an unsportsmanlike call on a touchdown where the guy lifts his leg up to pretend like he's peeing like a dog. Okay, and then a missed extra point. There's no way I can go to the team.
Honestly, they would win in overtime, so there's no guarantee they would have won.
Oh, I'm guaranteeing they would have lost, or they should have lost that game anyway.
And that penalty cost their coach
his job.
His job, yep.
Yeah. And how about that? But it opened the opportunity.
And that same day that they fired Ole Miss coach, 4 recruits decommitted. Fun little fact.
That's really alright when you got that.
And they were top recruits too. Some of them.
Yeah.
Top 100.
Yeah, well, it paved the way and opened up the way for Lane Kiffin to come back into the SEC and coach Ole Miss. So
you like Lane Kiffin, or is that another video?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it could be another video because it's a long topic. But yeah, I do like Lane Kiffin being back in the SEC. I think he's fun. I think he brings a fun factor, especially on Twitter, that we all certainly need. So the Red Box Bowl, we have California taking on Illinois.
I'm going to take California in this one.
Okay.
I like their defense overall. I think it's better than Illinois'.
Yeah.
So, I'm going Cal.
So, 2 reasons here that I'm actually going to pick Illinois. I understand that Illinois is 6-6, but 2 of their wins are against Michigan State and Wisconsin. And with California, they actually just recently have a outside linebacker who was arrested for battery on a police officer. I don't know how that's going to go down with him being out. I don't like the type of distractions going into a bowl game. And plus, I always like orange, so Illinois it is. We have very good matchups this year, by the way. Very good matchups.
Oh, yeah,
Capital One Orange Bowl. This is 2 very different teams. We have Florida taking on Virginia.
This is probably going to be one of my favorite bowl games this year. Hopefully, I think this is probably going to be one of the better games.
Yeah.
I've been thinking all day on this one. Like most of these games, they're coin flips almost. But I'm gonna go with Gators in their defense.
Okay. I was waiting to see what he's gonna say. I'm gonna go with Virginia. Okay, you're right. It's kind of a coin flip game. Virginia was able to stay in the top 25 even after their 62-17 loss to Clemson. I think just because of
it makes the bowl game look more interesting.
Yeah.
If they stay in the top 25.
It really does. We can say all kinds of different fancy, wonderful answers for that, but that's really the real reason that they're still in the top 25. Although I will say
they're a decent team.
I love Bryce Perkins and I love Bronco Mendenhall. I don't like to coach against them too often. Even with Florida's defense, it should be a good matchup. Defense versus offense. It should be a really interesting matchup. But I'm going to go with the Hoos and bounce back against that really bad loss. Yeah.
I mean, they started up pretty good against Clemson.
I was impressed. It looked like it was going to go. the interesting thing, if you're not looking at just the score of that game, it was actually closer than what most people probably realize. If you watched it all the way through, Virginia had their opportunities. And I remember one time when it was about 38-17 when Virginia ended up going for it on fourth down on a fake punt. That could have helped momentum shift a little bit, made the game a little closer.
And T. Higgins, he's the one that made that awesome catch, right?
T. Higgins made multiple awesome catches and
you know what
was
I'm talking
on
about?
fire.
The one on the sideline?
Stretched out,
yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's amazing.
That's
catch.
hard to forget. Yeah, there was multiple SC top 10 caliber catches in that game for Clemson, so it was a really excellent game. But Virginia played better than what the score indicates, and that's why I'm going to go with Virginia there. Moving on to the Belt Bowl, we actually have Virginia's big rival, who Virginia, by the way, was able to beat for the first time in 15 years.
Yep.
Virginia Tech is going to be taking on Kentucky.
I'm going to go with Kentucky. I don't think this one's going to be close. They're not going to be able to contain Lynn Bowden.
Okay.
Probably one of the best athletes in the country, I think. Definitely probably one of the best. You know who he is, don't you?
Yeah,
the quarterback
sure.
Yeah, he switched over from wide receiver to quarterback halfway through the season, and ever since then they've been winning games. After the Carolina game that they played, they switched to him.
Sure.
And
okay.
I like him.
I got you. So you got Kentucky in a blowout, right?
Yeah, not really a blowout.
Not a
blowout. They're gonna handle.
They're gonna win pretty handily.
Yeah.
I got Virginia Tech. Okay, so I don't like anything I've seen from Kentucky pretty much this entire year. I think Virginia Tech's been on the up and up, even with that loss to Virginia a few weeks ago. I'm going to go with the Hokies in this one. So, another interesting name for a bowl. This is the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. And it is Florida State taking on Arizona State.
I'm going to go with Arizona State.
Yeah.
With their defense. Florida State really hasn't showed me anything this year to be impressed with. So I'm going to go with Arizona State. And plus Arizona State, they have a really impressive win against Oregon.
That they do, and I'm going to go with Arizona State as well. Fork down in this game. Herm Edwards, I'm always with. I think he treats this team like it's an NFL team, and he has his guys ready like it's an NFL game every week. Florida State has not showed me any promise this year, but Florida State on the up and up, I believe, with Mike Norvell coming in from Memphis to be their new head coach.
Their offensive line is better than it was, which is really...
And it needs to get a lot better than what it was.
It's probably one of the worst a couple years ago.
Yeah, so Florida State's going to, I almost guarantee within the next at least 5 years span, Florida State will be back to where it wants to be, at least contending for an ACC championship game along with Clemson. With Mike Norvell, I really like what he's done so far in his coaching career, and I think he's going to hold things down and hold people accountable, which is something that Willie Taggart absolutely could not do. So I'm looking forward to Florida State in the upcoming years hosting a little bit of competition for Clemson. In the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, we have Navy taking on Kansas State.
I'm going to go with Navy in this one.
Okay.
I know they're a triple option team that I seem to love, but Kansas State not used to it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Navy as well. I'm interested to see how Navy does this weekend coming up in the Navy-Army game. And while we're talking about it, do you have a quick pick for that Navy-Army game?
I think Navy is the better overall team. But since my dad and my uncle and my grandpa were all Army, I'm going to have to go Army.
Yeah, you'd be kicked out of the house if you didn't, so I understand that completely. I'm going to pick Navy. My grandpa was in the Navy, fought in World War II, so I'm going to have to go with Navy for that reason. The Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl, we have Wyoming taking on Georgia State. It is a weird matchup.
How do
you pick it, you know?
I got Wyoming in this one.
Okay.
I like their offense a little bit better than Georgia State's.
I actually have Wyoming too. I don't like going against the mustard brown very often, and I'm not going to go against the mustard brown today. The Valero Alamo Bowl. Utah, after their really disappointing loss in the Pac-12 championship, has a time to take on Texas.
I've been thinking about this one all day too. Pretty
Okay,
much.
sure.
I was thinking that maybe Utah is going to be really upset about losing that and not really motivated to be in this bowl game.
Sure.
But then I was thinking Texas isn't that good.
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
It's going to be a very close game, closer than it should be, because Utah is the better team.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Utah.
Okay. I'm going to go with Utah as well. I actually need to totally slip my mind to post the photo. I don't think it's too late to post the photo you sent me where somewhere, I believe it was Sandy, Utah, they had posted a big electronic billboard saying Utah Pac-12 champions. Congratulations. I thought that was funny. We'll post it on the Twitter. But I'm going to go with Utah. I don't like Texas this year. They've really disappointed me big time because I was thinking really great things for them. And I think Utah bounces back after extremely disappointing loss. All right, so the VRBO Citrus Bowl, we have Michigan. They are taking on Alabama. Alabama moved all the way down to 13, by the way, even after a 10-2 season.
I got Alabama in this one.
Sure.
Their defense and their offense is way too good for Michigan's. Even though you can make the same case for this that I did for Utah. Alabama wanted to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not really wanting the bowl game.
Yeah.
But I'm still going Alabama.
So I think there was, I don't even remember what bowl game it was because it was so far earlier. But there was one that he was like, oh, this is the biggest like blowout of this one is. I feel so bad for Michigan right now. Really bad. Because Alabama is absolutely ticked off right now. I'm telling you, Nick Saban, I saw him at the end of the Auburn game. I haven't seen him that mad in a while. And now that they've moved him all the way down to 13, this is going to be really, really, really ugly. I don't know what the point spread is. Alabama's going to win by 50. Yeah. I'm telling you, I feel really bad for Michigan. And being moved down for them to the Citrus Bowl is just not something they're used to. First time ever they're not in the playoffs. So
out of five appearances.
Yeah, absolutely. So
them and Clemson are tied now for the most appearances in the college football.
All two dynasties. We'll see if Alabama can get back to where they want to be next year, which I'm sure they can.
Yeah,
I'm sure they can.
Do you know if Tua is coming back or not, or has he decided? Because he was talking about actually staying for next year.
Yeah, I don't think he's made that decision all the way. As soon as he does, we're going to post that for everyone. So make sure everyone knows. In the Outback Bowl, we have Minnesota taking on Auburn. Who do you have in this one?
I really love Minnesota because PJ Fleck. But I'm gonna have to go with Auburn.
Okay.
Because they're gonna come off that big win against Alabama and pretty much flex some muscle.
Sure, absolutely. Both teams have been somewhat disappointing, I guess you'd say, because I was really rooting for Minnesota, like a lot. I thought they really had a good shot to take down Wisconsin to possibly head to the Big Ten championship game. I like Minnesota. I like PJ Fleck. I like what they're doing, and I'm going to roll the boat with Minnesota here. I just don't, even with that Alabama win, I don't really like a lot of things that I've seen from Auburn this year that tell me that they're going to win this game. So in the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual, we have Oregon taking on Wisconsin. Oregon jumped up to number 6 after their Pac-12 victory.
I got Oregon in this one. Wisconsin, once you stop the running game, they don't really have nothing else after that.
I saw that multiple times this year, and it's hard for me to argue.
This is probably going to be very ugly pretty quickly.
Okay. I don't know if it's going to be... I think maybe it'll be that a little bit closer than that, personally, but I certainly have Oregon winning this game. It's hard for me not to have Oregon over Wisconsin. Wisconsin's been another one of those teams that's
And
kind of disappointing.
I love Oregon's quarterback.
Right, so you like Justin Herbert. I like Justin Herbert too. I think he's going to be one of the top draft picks in the NFL. If he can get better at taking on blitzes and not throwing interceptions, he can level that out a little bit, then he could go really high in the NFL. So we have the All-State Sugar Bowl. Georgia's got another chance this year. They're taking on Baylor after their really bad loss last year in the Sugar Bowl to Texas. Who do you have?
Oh, this is a very tough one.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time too.
I love Georgia's defense, but I love Baylor's offense.
All right.
But I'm gonna go with Baylor. I don't think Georgia's defense is gonna be able to hold Baylor for 4 quarters.
Okay.
And I don't think Georgia's offense is gonna be able to keep up with Baylor.
Okay.
And I don't really like Jake Fromm that much. He's probably
He's went down.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
Big games he normally plays lower.
Yeah. I mean, I want to disagree with you and pick Georgia, but Matt Rule, Baylor, they should have beat Oklahoma twice. Georgia has been exposed when they played LSU, which I already told you that they hadn't played. Yeah, when they played teams that actually had a decent enough offense, firepower, or at least with South Carolina, they just kind of threw the whole kitchen sink at them. But with you know, when it came to LSU, you saw an actual offense going up against them, like I was talking about in our last video. You saw Georgia just get absolutely flatlined. The same thing for Baylor here.
I mean, pretty much anybody is going to get like that against LSU, though.
Well, we're going to see in the playoffs, and we're going to get to those games in a second.
Yep.
But I have to go with Baylor, and I'm going to post them up here. So, coming down to the end, to the wire, almost done. We have the January 2nd, the Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. This is going to be Boston College taking on Cincinnati.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati in this one. Boston College, A.J. Dillon, he's sitting out this bowl game.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's my reasoning.
A.J. Dillon's your favorite player, right? So if he's not in, then how are they going to win?
Yep, that's true.
As soon as I announced this game, I immediately threw Boston College to the side. There's no way they're beating Cincinnati. I really love what they've been doing. I hate that they lost twice.
And you love the AAC too.
I do. I'm really big on the AAC, especially this year, and unfortunately not as big on the ACC anymore. I think Cincinnati's got this locked down, honestly. So we move to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. We have Indiana taking on Tennessee.
I'm gonna go with Tennessee. I like the direction that they're going in.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's kind of a toss up for me. Okay. I'm feeling Indiana though. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. I really don't. It's just one of those things, and I'm gonna go with Indiana. The gut feeling. So, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, we have Ohio taking on Nevada. That's not Ohio State, that is the University of Ohio.
I'm going to go with Wolfpack.
Okay.
I like their offense better than Ohio's defense.
Yeah.
So, Nevada it is.
Ohio, a fairly good team over in the MAC, like what they've been doing, but Nevada has been doing a little bit better, I think, especially with some of the teams that they've been playing in the Mountain West. And I have to go with Nevada, the Wolfpack as well. We're really down to the wire now. Last 2 games before we get to the playoffs. We have the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. We have Southern Mississippi taking on Tulane.
I'm going to go with Tulane on this one.
Yeah.
Offense.
Sure thing. I have to go with Tulane too. I love what Tulane's been doing. And remember at the beginning of the season, they really gave it to Auburn.
Yeah, they really did.
Earlier there. So definitely going to have to go with Tulane. Nothing that I've seen from Southern Mississippi makes me think that they can win that game. And finally, before we get to the playoffs, the Lending Tree Bowl, the very last bowl game that will be played before the national championship on January 6th. This bowl game is on January 6th. Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns taking on Miami of Ohio.
I'm going with Raging Cajuns. They're just a better overall team, offense and defense.
Okay, sure. I'm actually going with Miami of Ohio. I like the conference championship that they were able to get over Central Michigan last week. I think they continue that swag and confidence going into their bowl game and pick up the W. So this is it, the playoffs. We have number 1 LSU. They're going to be taking on number 4 Oklahoma, and that game being played on December 28th. Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I've been preaching Joe Burrow all year, so there's no way I'm switching.
Okay.
Their offense is way too good for Oklahoma's defense.
Yeah. In this game in particular, I'm going to have to go with LSU as well. I have loved LSU all year. I thought they should be number 1 all year. I'm not going to leave them right now, not especially against Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go with LSU, and we'll pick that national championship game
later
in another video. Maybe a quick pick here in a second. But we do have Clemson taking on Ohio State, number 2 versus number 3. This one should be pretty fun.
I've been thinking about this one all day too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Ohio State.
Okay.
I think they pull off the upset.
Yeah.
And win for the first time against a South Carolina team, because they've never beat Clemson and they've never beat South Carolina.
Interesting fact. I didn't know that about South Carolina. I knew that about Clemson.
Yeah, they played them in 2001 and 2002 in the Outback Bowl. They've lost both times.
Okay.
And they haven't beat Clemson either, so they've never beat anybody from South Carolina.
You know, part of my reasoning for picking Clemson is the same thing that you just said. Never lost to Ohio State. Why start now?
Mm-hmm.
Not going to leave my Tigers when they're playing the absolute best that they have been all year.
It's going to be a very good game.
At prime. Oh, yeah. It's going to be down to the wire. It could even go to overtime. I actually think that these are the 2 evenly matched teams in the entire
And really,
season.
LSU, Ohio State, or Clemson, either one of those could have been ranked number 1.
All 3.
And I wouldn't have said anything about it.
Yeah, me either. I honestly wouldn't. I'm going to have Clemson in that one. So if you have looked at it, in your national championship, you would have LSU playing Ohio State. In that scenario, who would win that game?
I would definitely go with LSU.
Okay.
I think, I just think their offense is a little bit better than Justin Field.
Okay.
And so they're going to have the slight edge, I think. It's very, very tough. Very, very tough to pick, but I got LSU.
Okay. If I had Clemson playing LSU in the national championship, I actually think that Ohio State is a tougher test for Clemson than LSU is, just because of LSU's defense. I think I've seen them at times. LSU's defense.
LSU's defense.
Yeah, Ohio State. Chase Young will be a heck of a matchup, defensive end for the Tigers. But if they're able to get past Ohio State for me, then they're certainly able to get past, I believe, LSU, just because of, even though I think LSU has been a better team, as I've said, I think matchup-wise, Ohio State matches up better with Clemson. So if they're able to get past Ohio State, then I certainly have them getting past LSU. And a really fun fact, throughout this entire playoff season, whoever's been ranked number 1 has never won the national championship.
That's a little fun fact.
It is. And LSU, if history repeats itself, would lose. They've made it to the national championship. All these number 1s never won it. So with that, I would have to go with the Tigers to win it all.
Okay.
So we've made it through all 41 bowl games. You can take a look at this board and see a lot of similarities, I believe, but the few differences there. Every game, I think, is really going to count between me and you, but it can count between the rest of y'all as well. We're going to post our group on Twitter. If you follow us on Twitter at Fumble Fever, then look for that coming up, and if you don't, please do, and try to get in this group and see if you can beat us too, and we may even throw in a prize for the winner. Depending. By the way, too, if you're not wanting to join the group, you can still follow all the action and see who's winning on our Twitter account as well. Starting on December 20th, we will post the winner of every one of these bowl games, and who between me and Dylan won if it was a different pick between the two of us. So make sure you follow the Twitter. Make sure, of course, that you subscribe to YouTube if you haven't already. Fumble Fever on there. And if you have, thank you for your support. Continue to hit the like button and continue to keep watching. We thank you guys very much.
And hit the bell.
And hit the bell. Thank you guys.
Thank you.